This is Damon Stevens, and this is Monday, May 24th, 2021, and we are going to give you a stock market update and talk about whether, we're going to go to new highs. We had a very bullish day, or this could be possibly a fake out as we get close back to the highs again. So we'll cover that today, and we'll also talk about Bitcoin as well as some other stocks, and hopefully that'll give you some opportunities this week and also to make you aware of the possibilities of where the market might be going. Let's get into earnings. So this is another earnings week. You can see that there's a few out there, not a lot that I'm really interested or following that much. NVDA is probably the biggest one. Costco. I'm going to look at retail, see if there's anything out there, but not a lot that I'm going to be paying attention this week. I'll keep an eye on them. They'll be on my watch list just to see if there's any opportunities for some to take advantage of some dips or possibly some variety in the earnings reports. But these are the stocks tomorrow. You got AutoZone, Zscaler, Urban. So Red Robin's actually I didn't mark that one, but that's another one I'll be watching tomorrow. And this should give us an idea of kind of how the market's doing. Toll Brothers also in home building. So that might be another one to look at. TOL to see what's going on with the housing market and how that's reacting. But so far, everything's looking strong, at least from today's perspective. If you have not subscribed to our channel, definitely subscribe to our channel, FinWealth Live. We have a YouTube channel as well as a Facebook page and Twitter account. So definitely check that out. Get some ideas and some suggestions on how we can help you in the market. If we look at the market today, the Dow Jones was up 0.54%. Nasdaq was up 1.141%, and S&P 500 was almost up 1%. Looking at the heat map here, you can see the tech was really strong today. It did very well. You can see some of the sectors here, Home Depot, you can see J&J. So the healthcare sector had some weaknesses in it. Low consumer did, utilities was down. But overall, it looks like the financials had a little bit of weakness, but the major companies that look like they're all running strong and nice and green today. On the scanner, only one we looked at today is SCPS. We'll cover that one. See if you were able to take advantage of that at all as we get into this. And let's go ahead and get right into it. So for SCPS, it's been on a downward trend for quite some time, and pretty much almost no volume. Today there's a spike this morning. You can see volumes kind of started coming in the last few days, and then all of a sudden we got a nice spike today. It hit the scanner late morning. Don't know if you had a chance to get in this trade. It was really quick. I missed this trade. I watched it as soon as it hit the scanner, but I was in a meeting, so I totally missed this trade. There's two opportunities really to get in. One was probably around $14, unless you're watching this prior or you're already in this stock, and then another one, possibly around $16, $17. But it was a short ride up, and really, after that, it pretty much ran flat the rest of the day and down. You can see that it kind of retraced about 50% of that move today, maybe a little bit more. So that's usual for stocks. When they get that parabolic move up, a lot of times they at least retrace 50%. So always keep that in mind when you see the stock starting to turn down. To definitely take profits if you haven't along the way, because more likely it could trace back at 50%, if not more. And sometimes you've seen them come down 100%, but typically it gives you a little bit of time to write it out. Some people try to short it. I tried not to guess the top, so I try to just take profits along the way every few dollars, just to see if I can get something out of it. And that way I don't get greedy and end up losing it all. Because if you're up here, jumping in here and trying to ride it up with this big parabolic moved up, pretty much, $5 clear up to, 20. So what a ride, right? Rocket ride up. But, as things jump that far, you're taking a lot of risk as the stock moves up. So it's good to jump in when you can. If you get a little bit of a pullback, that's usually a good sign. If it holds and breaks out over that high, it's a good time to get back in and grab a little bit of that. Definitely these small caps, the ones that pop on that scanner, typically those parabolic moves are not, they're not good for long-term trades. These are nice short-term day trades or scalp trades. So, typically these stocks, I'm not looking for long-term hold. Larger cap stocks are the ones I typically look for my long-term portfolio, or possibly a day or swing trade for a few days. So just keep that in mind. Stay safe and take advantage of the way you trade. We cover lots of different ways of trading here. A lot of it, you'll notice I'll cover a lot of day trades and scalp trades. But when you get the large caps, there is if the trend is strong, the market's strong, going long on the market definitely pays off, a lot more than these scalp trades sometimes, unless you're putting a lot of volume in. So keep your risk management tight. Don't go all in, and take profits along the way. If you look at earnings, so earnings, continues to, let me refresh here real quick. I don't think I refreshed today. Yeah, so 1615 beats, 451 misses. You can see that it continues to remain strong. So that's good for the market. If you look at the dollar continues, to hit the bottom here. So it's consolidated down here. It continues to hit new lows. And it's just consolidating down here tighter and tighter towards around $89. So if this breaks back up, if it finds support, it could break back up, and that would send a little bit of a shock into the market. As long as this continues to trend down, that's good. It has not broken down. You notice it's got pretty strong support, and sometimes it'll break back up. So that could cause the stocks to dip, the overall market to dip if that does break up there. So just keep that in mind. This is almost a week's worth of consolidation and support. So I'm looking at this could possibly, if it continues to hit support, it could bounce a little bit maybe then this week, maybe it's next week. But this is a good trend of days here of tight consolidation. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. On the VIX, the VIX it dropped way down here around 18, so that's good. Got this big long breakdown bar here. So the only thing to keep in mind here is every time we've had a breakout bar, we got a nice trailing breakdown bar. And so when you get these pairs right here, that kind of tells you kind of a behavior of how this works. And so we've had a few days in a row with this breakdown here, you can see, which has allowed the market to really act bullish and move back up. But we're coming back down in here into support. So if it tomorrow breaks down here, comes back down to the support level here, it could bounce off. We could see a break up. This is a long move here, so for the VIX, so we might see it bounce back up. So something to keep in mind here, that the market is acting very bullish, but we could get a pullback here too. So just stay safe. Take the take profits along the way. You can see here on this trend that we're watching, as far as basically the wave pattern here in the ABC. You can see that it should have broken down here, but it broke out of this wedge, which is a bullish move. It didn't come back and retrace back down to this line. It just kept on going up, and you can see here basically we broke this ABC move. So we could continue going up and trying to shoot for this high. There should be resistance here around the 422.82. So just keep that in mind. It could bounce off of that. We could have a down day tomorrow. It's turnaround Tuesday. So sometimes, whatever movement you saw on Monday, you see the opposite on Tuesday. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna have to watch kind of what the stock does in the morning to see if it starts to break down below the high of the day yesterday and continue to break up, or if it breaks down below the low, we could start to see this sell-off here down here. And is it going to totally sell off? Well, you got the 5 EMA here, you have the 10 and the 20 right around this range, around 414. And so at 414 level, if that does hold, it would be just a slight pullback. I don't know that it's going to actually pull back to 411. That would be breakdown. Then it would actually start to close this gap, which this gap is here. Is it possible we could have a breakdown? It's possible. I think it's less likely that we're going to go to new highs, but it's hard to judge with this market. This market's done some odd things. So, but right now this is a bullish movement out. So we'll see if it continues to break up. It could be that we get a breakup towards that high and get the rejection, and then we trace back down, possibly closer to this 411 to close this gap. Is that going to be this week or next week? It's hard to say. I'm really kind of watching what the price movement is at the open tomorrow and overnight to see, kind of what direction the market wants to go. So just be careful, take profits, I wouldn't necessarily be shorting this market right now because there's not a lot of bearish movement right now. I also wouldn't be like chasing it because you're almost going up to a new high, and typically you get a lot of resistance there. So keep that in mind. Triple Qs. Triple Qs. Okay, so I had this ABC pattern. You see that it's still under it. So there's a gap just above it. We could go fill that gap tomorrow possibly and try to break out of this. This is where you could have a pullback too, though. So, and if we do, we could start to pull back down. So that's the thing I'm watching for, is that we're going to break out of here or this ABC and break it to where, we continue to go up to new highs. Again, you got resistance here when you hit this 342. You can see you had resistance here and here. And if we have it here, you could have a rejection that pulls us back and possibly closes that gap. So that's the triple Qs. Semiconductors, again, bullish day today. You can see this nice bullish movement up. We do have a gap down here that will have to be closed at some point, or most likely will be closed. We can shoot up for this 249. We have a lot of space here. We could go back up on a bullish movement here. We have been, but if we pull back, we might pull back to this 241. Might pull back here to this 50 moving average right here at 239. So we'll see. And then we have the moving average, but you can see that the moving averages are curling up. We got a bullish movement. So we're above all the moving averages. That's a good sign. But we'll see how the market does. But it will have resistance along the way. So we just got to keep an eye on that. So Russell 2000 IWM, you can see here that we've hit resistance up here, right? We are above the moving averages, which is good. But we've got to break through here. If we do continue to have resistance, it might pull back. And if it does, we might pull back down, to this 218 level and try to find support here again. If it can stay above the moving averages, it could start to move up, but we got a lot of room above that it can move. So we'll see what happens. On the XLF for the financials, kind of a flat here. We are above all the moving averages. There's a lot of resistance up here. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It would have to break through there. And so, can everything break through all the resistance at the top? Probably not, but the market's done it before. We've hit all-time highs, so it's possible. Just know there's a lot of resistance there, and that could possibly allow the market to pull back a little bit. Gold's been bullish, right? It remains above the 5. It continues to remain the 5. So that's a good movement. You can see that it's starting to flatten out here, though. That means it's losing a little bit of momentum. You can see this little bearish candles here forming. So just keep that in mind. That could be possible, a pullback in gold. But it's still finding support there. But this is a consolidation and a lot less volume. So just keep that in mind. Silver consolidating as well. You can see this consolidation here. This is right on the 5, but above the 10 still. So we'll see what happens there. This could consolidate for a long time. If it does find weakness, it could pull back a little bit, especially if gold does. So something to keep in mind there. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had this big pullback here and touched the 30. You see that it's kind of found a lot of weakness here. It's below the 200. It's right above the 5 right now, but below the 10. And we're kind of consolidating right here. And it's trying to break back out. If it doesn't and doesn't break above that 200, it could come back and revisit the 30,000 level. So keep that in mind if you're in Bitcoin or holding out on that. And then if you look at Ethereum, we're right here in this consolidation area. So we broke down, found support again, trying to break back up, and now we're pulling back just a little bit down here. You can see this evening in after hours. But we are below all the moving averages, below the 5, the 10, and the 20. We're still above the 200 and the 50, and this 5 that just kind of came down. So right now, it's hard to say where it's going. Usually when I see a big breakup candle and it find resistance there, and it comes and starts to come back down, it could retrace this candle about 50%. And that would they would put it down here for Ethereum around 275. You can see on these candles here, this was the last breakdown. You had a break up, and then you had a close down of breakdown again that consumed or that prior candle. So we broke back down this pattern up. we could possibly break back down again and back down to this 100 level. But we'll see tomorrow. It's got to break up above here. It's got resistance up here as well, around 320 or 338. So we'll see what happens. As far as Doge consolidation, again, see the consolidation here, and it's consolidating really right on this 50. And so it did bounce off this 100. You can see that broke below it. So we're in this little channel right here. So where it's going, I think if you look at all the cryptocurrencies and altcoins, it looks like they're all kind of following the Bitcoin a lot. So just kind of depends what Bitcoin's does and what kind of news we have coming out. So it's right now consolidating. So I did sell out right up here around 57, bought back in around 26, rode it back up to 31, and then I got back out again. And right now I'm sitting out of it, waiting for really confirmation of direction before I get back in. So just if you're a holder, some people are diamond hands, they're holding out, they're looking for a big breakout. When I see consolidation for a while, I like to just kind of see what the movement is. I got my profits locked in, really, really happy where I'm at right now. And could it break out in a way? Possibly, but I don't see it. I mean, you see the consolidation you had it here before you had a breakout, and we're back into this consolidation here as well. And not a lot of movement. The volume's below average here last few days. So we got to see volume come back in like we did back here to get a large move back up again above the average. And that's why I'm just kind of monitoring and looking at the price action, see what happens. Tesla's great, a really good day today. Nice bullish move. You can see a nice movement here up to the upside. It is below a lot of the moving averages. We're above the 5 and the we're above the 200, the 5 and the 10. So it's good. If we continue to see that, I think you're going to see resistance around 622 still, around the 20. It could pull back from there, but we'll see what tomorrow's price action does. If we do get a pullback, it could pull back down to the 200. So something I'm looking at. You see, we had good volume today, a little bit above average. So just kind of looking at this one. This one, I day trade this one, and I also hold it long on my long-term portfolio. So it's just it's one I keep watching, and I do like this movement here. We'll see if it holds. And we do have a gap here, which I did not mark out. I just noticed. So let me put that this little gap in here, just so we kind of monitor that. But definitely want to pay attention, because we could possibly revisit this area at some point if it was to come down. So just put that in there. Just note it. Keep an eye on that. Disney, great. It's doing great. Nice bullish moves. Got to break over this little resistance. You see we have a gap here that's got to get above as well. So it's above the 5. It's right at the 10. And you can see the 50 or the 100 and the 20 are sitting right here at around 177. So we'll see if Disney can have a nice long ride up here. You can see the only thing that makes me nervous is the volume's low. It's below average. So if it can get a momentum to continue to climb is in question off a low volume. But if it can make the moves, the next spot of resistance is going to be around this 177. So NVDA. So this is what came from Mark. He recommended this one on Sunday, and you can see today that just had a really nice day. You got 4.1% increase. So great movement. It did break above the prior support that we had, prior resistance we had back here. It's the same as this breakup candle here. Does it retrace back down tomorrow? It's possible that it could, but it had good movement today, good volume. So we'll see if it can pull up towards this high. It would find resistance around 648. So just keep that in mind. It could pull back if it does have a good, nice bullish run. It could pull back, but right now, NVIDIA is looking really good. So just keep an eye on that. We do have earnings coming out, so this could be a run before earnings. If it is, this could be getting pushed up, and then it could pull back after earnings. So we'll see what earnings come out and what they have to say, but just be careful. because it's with earnings coming out, a lot of times if they feel like it's positive news, they're going to run it up, and then they're going to dump it when the earnings come out if it's been elevated too far. So we do have some resistance up here at 648. So just got to see this next 2 days, see what comes out. Just be careful because this could possibly be a run from a pre-earnings run. So just keep that in mind. So that's the market update we have today, and potentially the upsides and downsides. Again, manage your risk. I can't provide financial advice, but I can give you a technical analysis as far as what I see as far as price movement and what's going on in the market. And so hopefully this helps you to be a safe trader and to profit. So everybody have a great night and good luck tomorrow.